Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Coming on here live on this Monday midday. If you jump on here, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Make sure to give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so and share the video on all social media platforms. Have you ever accidentally fallen asleep? Good afternoon, Cameron. Glad to have you here. And since you weren't planning on falling asleep, you fall off into a deep sleep and you wake up and you have no idea where you are, what day it is, how long you've been asleep. You swear up and down you're late for work. Hey there, Austin. Glad to have you here. That's what just happened to me. My wife had to take our daughter to the doctor's office. So I thought, I'll sit down and relax for a few minutes and I'll get up and do something. And I dozed off and I woke up and no idea who I am, where I am, what time it is, what day it is, nothing. That's from a quick nap. And there's a difference in nap and a sleep. And if you ever like to know the difference in a nap and sleep, then please feel free to ask me. And I'll let you know. Anything more than 15, 20 minutes is not a nap. But today we're going to talk some wrestling. And I know we talked some wrestling yesterday as well, but there's a lot of wrestling going on right now, so I didn't want to have one extra long video. So I thought, we'll just talk some more wrestling in my next video. I mentioned this yesterday, but I want to go more in depth with it today. This Saturday, I'll be at 205 Commerce Parkway in Cornelia, Georgia. And no, Austin, I don't. To me, a long nap is sleep. To me, a nap is 15, 20 minutes, maybe 30. Anything more than 30 minutes, you're not napping. You're sleeping. A nap is when you just sit down in a peaceful house or lay down trying to watch TV in a peaceful house and you sleep 15, 20 minutes and you weren't planning on sleeping. You just got in a quick nap on accident. To me, if you get a blanket or a throw out and you put something under your head, then you're planning on going to sleep. That's not a nap. That's sleep. You get something to go under your head and you get a blanket or a throw, then you're planning on going to sleep. But if you are planning on watching TV or enjoying a peaceful house for 15, 20 minutes and you doze off, that's a nap. Anything more than that, if you lay down and set your alarm to sleep 2 hours, that's not a nap. That's a sleep. There's a difference. A quick nap's okay. Anything more than 20, 30 minutes max is sleep. You might as well just go to bed. You're going to sleep. I'll be at 205 Commerce Parkway in Cornelia, Georgia. It's an outside show, so encouraging everyone to bring your own lawn chair unless you want to stand up the whole show. This show's a little bit earlier start time than most shows. Hey there, I'm assuming that's Cordy. If not, I apologize. And it might be 8 p.m. where you are, but where I am, it's nowhere near 8 p.m. I would never actually go to bed at 8 p.m., but the nap I wasn't planning on getting. I was home by myself because our daughter is sick today, so I was going to try to enjoy a few minutes of peaceful television before I got up and did my next daily chore. and I laid on the couch to watch TV, and I dozed off for, I don't know, 25, 30 minutes. Hey there, Mid Danish. Glad to have you here. I'm not even sure what PUBG is, but I haven't played any kind of game on a tablet, computer, television, anything in 30 years, so I've never heard of it. And I don't sleep much. Normally I sleep 5.5 hours a night, and I'm good. The more I sleep, the worse I feel. I wake up with a headache, my back's hurting, my head's hurting, my legs are stiff. When I sleep a long time, I wake up feeling like an old man. So normally 5.5, 6 hours max a night is all I get. Gates open at 5 o'clock. Bell time is 6 o'clock. And I apologize that y'all can't see my face real good. We all know how good looking I am, so it ain't like I've changed since last night. But I thought since it was daytime, I could leave the window open, but it just made it real dark in here, even though it's in the middle of the day. And yes, I am perfectly okay. Thank you for asking. But you know how sexy I am, so it's okay to see me in the dark for one. Video. Gates open at 5 o'clock. Bell time is 6 o'clock. You can get on Facebook and see some of the matches. You know, most independent shows, you don't announce all the matches. You announce 2 or 3. And as always in wrestling business, card is subject to change. But as of right now, we're looking at Bobby D versus Todd Sexton. Torque versus Jack Salem. Austin Thorne and Xander Seabolt versus Dead Man's Hand. And we're going to have the first ever Tap Wrestling Legacy Rumble. And then we've got Jimmy Lee, Dynamic Dexter, The Approved, Billy Starr, Jacob Ashworth, Dangerous Affairs, Tower, Brent Hudson, and Seth Stevens all scheduled to be there. Some of those guys will be in the Rumble, I'm sure, and some of those guys will be in a match. So come on out and find out who all is in the Rumble. And TAP stands for Total Aggression Pro Wrestling. And since the doors open at 5 o'clock, that's when you can buy tickets, and it is first come, first serve, $10 at the door, and you cannot buy tickets early. So it's first come, first serve, starting at 5 p.m. Saturday afternoon as soon as the doors open, and bell time is 6 o'clock Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening, depending on when you consider when's the end of afternoon and when's the beginning of the evening. But also today, I want to talk some Battleground. Battleground comes up Sunday, and Austin asked me yesterday when Battleground was. And by the way, Cordy, if it's 10 p.m. wherever you are, that means your time is either way ahead of ours or way behind ours. So appreciate you being here late on this either Sunday or Monday night, wherever you are. Thank you so much. If this is your first time for checking on the channel, feel free to leave a thumbs up, comment anytime. If you have not subscribed, please do so, and tell your friends, tell your family about the channel. We talk college football, the NFL, some college baseball, Major League Baseball, some college basketball, some NBA, some NASCAR racing, some wrestling, of course. That's obvious already. And I do top 10 countdowns just about every week. Some of those are about wrestling. Some are about movies, music, cars. You just never know. So it's a variety channel here on Ref Brandon and the Todd Family. Battleground comes up Sunday. Austin asked me yesterday when it was, and I told him Sunday, but I thought it was Sunday afternoon, but it's actually Sunday night. So Battleground will be running neck and neck with AEW's pay-per-view Sunday night. I ran down the announced matches so far for AEW's pay-per-view. Well, today we're going to run down the announced matches so far for Battleground. But of course, we've got NXT tomorrow night, so I'm sure they're going to announce at least one more match, maybe two. But so far for Battleground, which by the way, this is the 8th overall Battleground and the 3rd Battleground under the NXT banner. It'll take place at the Yingling Center in Tampa, Florida. Oba Femi versus Miles Bourne for the NXT Championship. If you missed Miles Bourne's promo last week, it was fantastic. Hey there, JD. Glad to have you here. And I am in the shadows. It wasn't planned. I don't never sit down here for a long time before I start a video. I just thought, well, my wife has the window open and it's daylight, so people will see me. And I sat down, and as soon as I sat down and put the phone up and hit record, I was like, dang, it's dark. But I mean, the window's open, so it's the middle of the day. But no, JD, I didn't really talk much about the All-Star race, but that's only because I don't know how many people actually watch the All-Star race. To me, out of all the All-Star events, festivities, whatever you want to call it, in all the sports, to me, the NASCAR one is the most watchable. And then second would be the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. It's almost pretty much just about, with the exception of the fact that the starting pitchers only pitch an inning, it's almost like a regular game. But the NFL's All-Star Game is unwatchable, and the NBA All-Star Game is unwatchable. But me personally, I'm a huge NASCAR fan. I watch some of the All-Star race, but I don't watch it all because, to me, since there's no points on the line, it's not a points race. To me, it's like a scrimmage. So in my mind, I have a hard time focusing on it because it's like watching a practice, and I don't watch practice in any sport. To me, if it's practice, it doesn't count. But I watch a little bit of it. But I don't know how many people actually watch the NASCAR All-Star race. NASCAR's tried to make it better over the years. They've changed the format of it seemingly every year. I know it's not, but it seems that way. They do that because nobody watches it. And plus, it's not all the drivers in it. But I can recall back when I was in high school, JD, when I was a huge NASCAR fan and the Speed Channel was around, I can recall the Speed Channel would start showing NASCAR events for the All-Star race, I think on the Wednesday before, and they started showing practice. They showed qualifying. They even, back in the day, used to show the Pit Crew Challenge, which, if I'm not mistaken, took place on the Thursday before the All-Star race, and you would see each pit crew get to change their drivers' 4 tires and make all the adjustments, and then the pit crew that won and did that the fastest won, I believe, 50 grand, if I'm not mistaken, but that was a long time ago. So it used to be even a bigger deal in the NASCAR world. Now they stopped showing all that. And I do know that Joey got mad because Bell passed him. And I did also see that Logano said if he could have got to him, he'd have put him in the wall, but nobody would have cared because it's the All-Star race. But, we've talked about it before, JD. Logano's one of those that, if he does something, he's an idiot for doing it. If he don't do it, he's an idiot for not doing it. He's like the polarizing figure in NASCAR now that gets talked about for everything he does and everything he doesn't do. But we got Obafemi versus Miles Bourne. If you missed Miles Bourne's promo last week, he's partially deaf, and I've known that pretty much since he debuted. But he's still only like 22, 23 years old. The kid's really young, but they're trying to push him, and get him over as an extremely popular guy. What better way to do that than to send him out there and do a promo about being deaf? That's going to make the fans get behind you and cheer for you because they're going to feel pity for you. This also works the opposite way. If they want to turn Miles Bourne heel down the road, he can basically pretty much almost do that same exact promo as a heel and say, hey, I'm partially deaf. You guys don't back me. Y'all don't care about me. I'm better than y'all. I'm deaf. I'm a pro wrestler. And they'll hate him. It's kind of the same way with CM Punk. Me personally, as a guy that has never smoked, never drank, never tried drugs of any kind, that's my personal opinion, my personal thing. I've just always thought all that stuff is a big waste of time. But I'm still not a CM Punk fan. Never will be. But back when CM Punk, back in the day, had that as a character, it was great. As a good guy, hey, cheer for me. I'm a good role model. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. Let your kids follow me. I'm a good role model. As a heel, CM Punk can basically cut the same promo and say, I'm better than y'all because y'all are a bunch of alcoholic cigarette smokers, and I don't do that. So CM Punk could use that same character, good or bad. Well, Miles Bourne now can do that. As a good guy, cheer for me. I can't hear. As a bad guy, piss on y'all. I'm famous. I'm deaf, and I'm a wrestler. He can do that same character, good or bad. Right now, it's going to work as a good guy, trying to build him up. To give Obafemi some different competition other than the same old guys. Plus, Miles Bourne's not the leader of that faction, so, he's not the one you hear about and see about all the time. A lot of folks don't even know his name because of the fact, I think his first time talking, at least on television, was last week. So they got to let the guy talk, and when he talks, you can tell right away that he's deaf because he has, the same exact way of talking that almost everybody does. That's hard of hearing. Stephanie Vaquer versus Jordan Grace for the NXT Women's Championship. Joe Hendry versus Trick Williams for the TNA World Championship. And Tony D'Angelo is taking on Channing Lorenzo, better known as Stacks. That's the 4 matches announced so far. I'm sure they're going to announce at least one more at Battleground tomorrow night. And JD, it's hard to believe, I mentioned this last week, that All-Star race yesterday was the last Fox race of the season. Used to be, you only had 2 TV stations that carried the Cup Series, and that was Fox and NBC. So it was on NBC up until late June, early July, and then NBC took over. But now you've got 12 on the Fox family of networks, 5 on Amazon Prime, 5 on TNT, and 14 on the NBC family of networks. And then there's one big race on each network. So that way each network gets its one big race. So they're trying to spread the love through all 4 networks. Now, Fox had 12 on the Fox family of networks. If I'm not mistaken, I believe only 5 were on Fox and 7 were on Fox Sports 1. And I believe when NBC gets their 14 after the 5 for Amazon Prime and 5 for TNT, I believe when NBC takes over and gets their 14, that I saw 4 were going to be on actual NBC. The other 10 are either going to be on USA, or Peacock, I believe, but I think only 4 of the 14 are actually on NBC. That's probably the very first one, a couple mixed in between, and of course the very last one in November when they crown a champion will be on NBC. So just because you see NBC doesn't mean it's going to be on NBC. It'll be the NBC family of networks. As it gets closer, you'll have to check your program guide to see which channel that actually is. It used to be the NBC Sports Network, but of course that went under. So now NBC has NBC, Peacock, CNBC, and USA, but I don't know if CNBC will be carrying any NASCAR races. Well, let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. The book club advised me to read Pinocchio. It won't be long, they said. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.